You've lived with your dog for months, maybe years. You feed them, walk them, sleep beside them. You know their personality, their quirks, and the specific way they look at you when they want something. But here's what almost nobody thinks to ask. What are you to them? Not emotionally in the human sense, but neurologically, biologically, in the way their social brain actually understands the world. When your dog looks at you, what category of being does their brain actually place you in? Not another human, and not exactly another dog either. The answer that behavioral science has been piecing together over the last 2 decades is stranger, more interesting, and, if you let it, more moving than anything you'd expect. They don't see you as a human, but they don't see you as a dog either. For a long time, the dominant assumption was that dogs treated humans as a kind of pack leader, alpha theory. You're dominant, they follow. Simple hierarchy. Modern animal behavior research has largely moved away from that model. Much of it came from the studies of captive, unrelated wolves living in artificial social groups, conditions that don't reflect how wolves or domestic dogs naturally organize themselves. What replaced it is considerably more interesting. Research from Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest, one of the leading centers for dog cognition science, suggests dogs interact with humans as a distinct kind of social partner, not simply as oversized dogs, and not merely as sources of food or shelter. They treat humans differently from every other relationship in their social world. The social brain evidence for this is remarkable. When researchers study how dogs navigate problems, a consistent pattern emerges. Dogs are uniquely, almost exclusively, oriented toward humans in a way that sets them apart from every other domesticated animal and from their closest wild relatives. A striking demonstration of this comes from problem-solving studies. When dogs encounter a task they can't solve, a sealed container, an inaccessible reward, an obstacle they can't overcome, they do something wolves raised by humans almost never do. They look at you. Not randomly, not out of frustration. They look specifically at the nearest human, make eye contact, and appear to seek guidance. Wolves, even those raised in close contact with humans from birth, persist alone. They don't make that turn. Researchers interpret this as evidence that dogs evolve specialized social cognitive adaptations for living alongside humans. Your dog isn't just existing near you. Their attention is continuously tracking you, your movement, your reactions, your emotional state, and your availability. Their brain is built to treat you as socially meaningful. And to your dog, you are something even more specific than that. You are a safe base, in the most literal attachment science sense of the term. This is where attachment science becomes truly illuminating. Researchers adapted Ainsworth's strange situation procedure, the gold standard test for measuring attachment bonds in human infants, for use with dogs and their owners. The results were remarkable. Dogs showed attachment patterns comparable to those seen in human children with their primary caregivers. When their owner was present, dogs explored more freely. When the owner left, stress indicators rose. When the owner returned, those indicators dropped, regardless of whether a friendly stranger was present. The stranger could not substitute for the owner. Comfort came specifically from that person. In attachment theory, this is called the safe base effect. The attachment figure doesn't just provide comfort. Their presence makes exploration and engagement with the world feel safer. A majority of dogs in these studies showed patterns resembling secure attachment, proportions broadly comparable to those often found in human attachment research, which means that for many dogs, their owner is not simply associated with food or routine. They are the emotional reference point around which the dog's sense of safety is organized. You are not background to your dog. You are central to how they experience the world. And the chemistry supports it. In 2015, researchers at Asabu University in Japan published a landmark study in Science. They measured oxytocin, the neurochemical associated with social bonding, in dog-owner pairs during interaction. When dogs and their owners engaged in mutual gaze, oxytocin levels rose in both, simultaneously across species. The dog's bonding chemistry activated, so did the owners, which deepened the interaction and released more oxytocin, a self-reinforcing loop that pulled both nervous systems closer. They ran the same test with wolves raised by humans. The loop didn't activate. This isn't a general feature of animals living near humans. It appears to be something that developed specifically between dogs and our species, shaped over thousands of years of living, working, and sleeping side by side. Your dog isn't just reacting to you. They are neurochemically designed to bond with you in a form that appears unusually developed among domesticated animals. But here's what that actually means day to day, and this part surprises people. If you are your dog's safe base, their emotional anchor and their primary attachment figure, then your emotional state doesn't stay with you. It travels. Research has consistently shown that dogs are highly sensitive readers of human affect. A 2016 study in Biology Letters found that dogs could match emotional expressions across faces and vocalizations, distinguishing positive from negative states in both humans and other dogs. They're not just reading your tone of voice or your body language in isolation. They're integrating multiple signals simultaneously to build a picture of how you are. And a 2019 study found that dogs' cortisol levels, their stress hormone, tend to mirror their owners over time. Not just in the moment, chronically, long-term stress in an owner is associated with long-term stress in their dog. Your dog is not a passive recipient of your care. They are constantly and quietly taking the temperature of your inner world, which means the relationship runs in both directions more deeply than most people realize. You regulate them, and to a meaningful degree, they regulate you. So given all of this, what does your dog actually need from you? This is where the science becomes practical. If your dog experiences you as a secure attachment figure, then one of the most important things you can give them isn't expensive food, elaborate toys, or even longer walks. It's predictability. Attachment security in dogs, as in humans, is built through consistent and responsive interaction over time. Not perfection, not constant attention, but reliability. The sense that when something is uncertain or frightening, you will be there and you will respond in a consistent way. Research on canine welfare has found that unpredictable environments, not just unpleasant ones, but unpredictable ones, are among the biggest sources of chronic anxiety and stress in dogs. When a dog doesn't know when you're coming home, how you'll behave when you arrive, or whether an interaction will be warm or distracted, that uncertainty stays with them. They carry it in their nervous system. Routine matters. Consistency matters. Not because your dog is simple, but because they are socially attached. And attached beings of all kinds are sensitive to the reliability of their anchor. And there's one more layer, perhaps the most important. Dogs almost certainly experience time, memory, and emotional continuity differently from humans. They form memories, they anticipate routines, they learn from the past, but they likely don't build the same complex narratives around their lives that we do. Gregory Burns, who conducted some of the first MRI studies on awake dogs, has suggested that dogs may experience emotional life in a more immediate, present-focused way than humans typically do, which means moments of direct interaction may carry extraordinary emotional weight. Every reunion you walk through the door, every moment you sit beside them calmly, every slow blink, every hand offered for them to sniff, every moment of undivided attention, those moments aren't competing with abstract worries about tomorrow or layered interpretations of last week. They are immediate, direct, real, which means you have something surprisingly simple to give. Your dog doesn't need you to be perfect over months and years. They need you to be fully there in the moments you actually share. 60 seconds of complete presence, sitting on the floor at their level, slow blinking, speaking in that voice, letting them press their nose into your hand, can land more deeply than an hour of distracted coexistence. So when your dog looks at you, really looks at you with that kind of attention that feels almost uncomfortably direct, here's what the science suggests they may actually be seeing. Not a human in the way another human would see one, not a pack leader, and not simply a source of food or shelter. Their safe base, their primary social partner, the being whose presence makes the world feel safer, more predictable, and easier to navigate. Tens of thousands of years of shared evolution created a relationship unlike almost anything else in the animal kingdom. One so deeply intertwined that stress hormones can synchronize, emotional states can influence one another, and even a simple moment of eye contact can activate bonding chemistries in both species at the same time. You are not just their owner. To your dog, in the clearest way their biology allows them to express it, you are home. If this helped you to unwoof your relationship with your dog, don't forget to subscribe and tell me in the comments, what does your dog do that you now see completely differently?